Hi, everybody. Wow. I am going to be, I'm actually out here on my own tonight. I hope one more time that this is actually working. My husband's working tonight, so he wasn't able to hook things up. I've got all these crazy cords that I'm, pulling together, trying to make sure that I can get it working. And I'm hoping that you guys can see this. It's Friday night. It's not. Oh, and my cat's saying hello. Just a sec. All right. Hey, what are you doing? No chewing on the cords. Happy Thanksgiving from my super fat cat who's gotten fatter and fatter. He looks just like my old cat. I have a feeling that we're kind of having a weird signal, but maybe not. Anyway, you guys will let me know a little bit later. Anyway, this is Julius. He looks exactly like my old cat, Jojo Speed Bump, and is getting a fat tummy and growing this nice winter fur. And he's just great. He's just so good, except he likes chewing cords. Oh dear. Anyway, anywho, I wanted to just take a little bit of time tonight and show you how our paintings turned out from the last few um, episodes. I've had actually the one that we did last week. You remember the crazy horse? I just wiped it right off. I know some of you guys are a little bit like, what in the world is she doing with that? But I wiped it off and then I repainted a new one. It's in the living room. I forgot to bring it in. It's a very dark mysterious looking horse that's white and it's coming out of the fog. So next time we meet, I will show that one to you. Anyway, here is the girls. Here are the girls on the beach so far. I'm almost done. Almost done. There is a little bit of work to do on the shirt. It's kind of, I raised the waistline up from the original photo because it just, well, maybe I didn't. Maybe I need to even raise it up a little bit more. But yeah, she was kind of hanging down to here. And she's only like 14 or 16. I found out that this photo that I'm working from, I did some research, is from 1920, not 1910. And this little gal is Adeline, and this is Glado, and this is Mary from 1920. These two had lost their mother in 1913, so 7 years before they had lost their mom. And they had just gotten through the first pandemic in that started in 1917 after World War I. And so that was really a nightmare for them in their little lives. But they also lived in a small town in Saskatchewan, Canada. So hopefully they weren't too terribly affected by it. Anyway, so 1920 was a good year. They looked like they were having so much fun, and it seemed to be a little bit of a break from all of the chaos that they had been going through in their lives, losing their mom, losing, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, yeah, they lost their mom. And then later on, they had a new stepmother, which was my husband's grandmother. Yes, my husband's mother's mother. And then she came along 8 years after that. So it was quite the spread. The mother married the father at age 18. So she took on these two gals when they were, oh gosh, like, I don't know, 7 years old. One of them was 7 and one was 9 or something like that. Anyway, it was crazy. I'm sure it was really tough. And there wasn't a lot to do. So anyway, I think this is either on the Saskatchewan River or on the coast. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Where's my microphone? Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. All right. So what am I going to do next? Well, I kind of want to keep it nice and loose down here. I might put a few little marks, but you can get carried away. I stuck a couple of birds up here. I don't think you can even see them. I had a photograph. I didn't use a photograph for the back. Well, it sort of looks like that on the background. But I found another black and white ocean scene, and I'm going to just do a little more enhancing to pull out some of the colors, and that'll be it. Now this one is done in oil, and I just love it. I really, really like it a lot. So still some work to do on the hands, because, you know, they look kind of like little mushed up mittens with fingers on them. I think she must have been doing some clam digging, don't you? I'm not really sure why she was wearing these big old bulky, you know, gloves, but they're pretty cool. And I may do a bit of a glaze of this, a little bit more of the transparent orange over the top of it. We'll see. Now, beyond that, oh, I've been working on another piece. Do you remember, oh, several weeks ago, I did a painting or a really fast sketch of my great-grandfather, Papa Frank. And I'm trying to think what I just did with that photo. Oh, here it is. I'm always excited when I can turn around and find what I was supposed to be finding. Anyway, so this is Papa Frank. Remember him? Super cool guy with the fedora hat. I've got a little glare going on there. This is how I keep my photos nice and clean when I'm working on them. I stick them in a plastic sleeve, you know, just like what you do in regular notebooks. And then I put them back in a big notebook. And I've just blown them up because the photographs are about that big. They're really, really tiny, super tiny. And so it makes it a challenge sometimes to see. You want to be able to see what you're doing. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to bring that other painting over. Hopefully I won't crisscross all of my wires. I look like I'm knitting a sweater out of electronics. Yeah, okay. I hope you guys had a really good Thanksgiving. You know, I know Thanksgiving can be a bit of a challenge sometimes, especially when you get together with relatives. You know, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your relatives. You can pick your nose. Okay. But that's about it. So I've got this giant 30 by 40. Now the girls on the beach are 30 by 30. I don't know why I think I have to paint such large pieces. I'm actually working on some smaller ones for the gallery. And this is a fun one. Okay, so now this one, okay, oh, I cut his head off. Okay, just a sec. I'm going to put this paint over so I don't get paint all over the place. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and then I'll tip the camera down so you can sort of see what I'm doing. Got that? Okay, that's not bad. I'll just tip it forward a little bit. Well, we'll just mess around with the camera. How's that? All right, that's the beginning of the Papa Frank painting. It's a mixed media this time. Okay, what I did was I started this in acrylic, not in oil. So I'm going to just tip this camera up just a tad. You can see the top part. Well, maybe I'm not. Oh, woo, there's a bump. Oh, well, never mind. Okay, and I started kind of patching it in acrylic paint. Well, I started out with this dark, kind of a, what is it called? Oh, raw sienna acrylic paint. And then I didn't put this on yet. I covered up our drawing. I wiped that one off and covered it up. And then I took some old photos. And I copied them. I didn't put the old photos on here because you don't want to wreck your old photos. No, that's too precious. So I made photocopies of the photocopies. I made copies on the computer of these photos. And I used a medium. Let me see if I can find it. In essence, you guys, it's just, I'm going to strangle myself. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is heavy. I buy it in bulk. Okay. This is the big gloss medium. Okay. It's called PVA sizing. Guess what it is? It's like Elmer's glue. Okay. It's just what I used to, use it to create transparent color in my acrylics. I don't use it for oils, guys. No. This is for acrylics. And I also can use it as kind of a finish over the top. So I paint paint some of that like Elmer's glue, just like when you do decoupage. All right, when you do decoupage. And then I paint over the back of the photo or the copy of the photo and put it on top like that in a few different places. And then I put a little layer of it over the top of it so that it's nice and set in. And then I go in and use that gloss medium and thin it out with maybe a little bit of the background color, the raw sienna, and paint that over the top of it in a really thin layer and make sure I don't get it too dark. So it really just kind of creates a little bit of a mood. Okay, so it's a mood, not, you know, you could accidentally put too thick a paint on there and end up with a, just covering it up. But behind here, I don't know if you can see, there is an area, oh, I don't know if you can tell, right in here. In here, oh, down here is easier to tell. There we go, right there. All right, there is where I have taken, before I put this guy on, okay, I didn't put him on, but I took some craft paper, you know, the kind that you get in packaging. Sometimes your stuff shows up and it's in this, this kind of, well, it's like paper bags. Okay, duh, okay. So you take that and crumple it all up. That's noisy. And then I kind of give, and then I rip it in not straight lines, but in these kind of wild and crazy shapes. And I do the same thing with that. I will glue those on with that medium, the gallon I just showed you. So I'll paint the back of it and paint the front of it, and then I glaze over the top of it with more of this color. You can use any color you want. This one, I like it to be not too transparent. I want to cover this up as much as I can, but I want to give it texture. So underneath here is all sorts of texture that you can't barely see, but you can see it over here. That's pretty cool. And then I have, I used a, oh, I also picked up some old music. Some old music at the thrift store for cheap, like 25 cents for this music that came from 1925, 26, my favorite era. And I made copies of it. I accidentally copied it on cardstock. That didn't work. And then I cut out pieces of the music, or I ripped out pieces of the music like this, you know, just kind of ripping out, and glued a few pieces. There's a piece of music right under his leg. There's a piece over here. And sometimes you can really do some fun things with some words. Like this one says, "Oh, give me back your fondest whatever." I don't know. Fond caresses. Whoa. Okay. Fond caresses. Then I found another antique postcard of something in England, and I copied that one off and ripped out the paper around it there. And then I did, this is the back of the postcard over here. So I'm just gluing interesting things. And if I really was being careful, I do his whole life, you know, where he came from. This has got his mom. There's a picture of his mother. No, wait. A picture of his daughter, my grandma, Mary. There she is. There's Oma Mary, and Oma Alexander is what her name is. And there is a picture of him sitting over here, which is of him reading the newspaper when he was older. It's kind of cool, really. And then here's a picture of one of their friends. And here's another one with my mom and some music and stuff. So I just glued a bunch of different things on. And I don't know if I'm done with that yet. I think I might, you know, patch in a few more pieces over here, maybe some down here. And then on also this kind of funky design over on this side, I used a, what did I use? I used a stencil. This is a wall stencil. It's really big. And it's also quite out of reach. Okay, that was good. I was really going to be planning to do this right and not turn on the camera until I was totally ready. Like that's ever going to happen. Okay. Anyway, so the little stencil, then I put the stencil on and I lightened up the background color by adding some white to it. I added some white to the paint and then also the gloss, the glaze a little bit because I wanted it more opaque. So maybe I didn't add the glaze to it this time. No, okay. And then I put a little bit down here and some over here. I also used a few stamps. Oh, great. Where did I set those? Okay. You know, like some of those. Oh, here they are. I found them. Just a sec. Okay. So I used some. Did I keep this one? Yes, I did. Okay. This thing right here, this is a roundish, looks kind of like a crisscross thing. Looks like a little medallion. And I used some gold metallic paint. And I put a stamp of gold acrylic metallic paint up there, which you can't see. Great. All right. There's one there. Okay, there's a little gold round thing. And there's some in the corners. And then I went back in the background and I used this. You can tell I'm really not keeping my stamps very good. But I kind of like them a little bit chunky, so I leave some of the paint on them so that it isn't as clean or crisp mark. And then you can always clean them with alcohol. It works. So I used that one, and I put a few little fleur-de-lis on here. And some of them, I don't know if any of them made it. I'll probably put another one up here. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put some more of the little fleur-de-lis back on. I accidentally covered them up with the paper, but I was testing out different kinds of things. So I'm going to actually be doing a few more three-dimensional kind of works over time. That will be interesting. I know. It will, won't it? Yes, talking to myself. Okay, so that's what I've been up to with this. This is so much fun. Now, it looks kind of like he's got a couple of dead hands. He's got some interesting, weird stuff going on. But what else did I do on this? Okay, well, I think that was it. There's a little leaf way up here that is, you know, like a leaf shape. I went out in the yard today and with my son's dog, and we found a couple of leaves still that were not too bad. And so the next thing I'm going to try is I'm going to paint those leaves in the medium, in that gloss medium. I'm going to paint several layers in the gloss medium on the back of the leaves so that I can see the shape of the veins. Then I'm going to peel the leaf off, and I think I may do a piece where we just stick those leaves on, maybe paint them a little bit and stick them onto something and make it kind of collage-y. Ooh, that would be so nice, won't it? Yeah, that'll be great. Okay, so anyway, that's what we've been doing. You know, I'm thinking, let's see, better not kick things over here. I'm thinking about the horse piece. And I'm going to do this, if you'll bear with me for just a sec. I do want to show you one more thing. I'm going to make this kind of short because I know you're with your families or you're at the mall. Oh my gosh. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Hang on just a sec. Crazy. Don't go away. All right. Coming back. That's crazy. All right. One more painting. Oh, I can't resist. Okay. Here's our weirdo horse piece that, you remember last week I said that if you don't like it, you can wipe it off, right? Okay, well, that's what I did. And so I took all the paint that was on there. We had a really thick application of paint with, what was it, a palette knife. That was crazy. And I put that on there, and I just thought, my gosh, this is crazy. We can't be, it just looks so crazy. I just didn't like it. And so I used a big brush and I and rags and wiped it off. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to check this out. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is still really, really wet. I can't believe that. So probably can't do too much more on it, but it's dry here. With that white paint will take forever to dry. If you're in a hurry, paint in acrylic, okay. But don't, yeah, be careful not to be using all the white paint. If you need something for a show really fast, use acrylic, or you can use some drying mediums and some fast drying whites. There are a few of those. But yeah, it takes quite a bit to get this paint from, to keep it from, well, it just doesn't dry. Hello, just doesn't dry. Okay, hang on. Now, so at this stage, I want to grab, oh, here we go. I want to do a little bit on this piece, so I'm going to do, grab a little bit of a, which brush? This one right here. All right, because that's fairly dry. Got to be careful. Got to be careful. And I want to show you also another little trick I did. I have arthritis really bad, and so it's hard for me to get these little lids off. Guess what I found? I found some corks from wine corks that have a little top on them like that. I don't know. I think I bought the whole bag of corks at the thrift store. That worked out good. And so now I'm going to take that and I can pour that a little bit on. What we can do with that, the Neo Mag, I think helps it to dry a little bit faster. Not too much faster, but a little bit. And then of course you got to get your paper towels ready just in case. And now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take the Neo Mag and some of the white, and you'll see how it looks like it's white, but it really isn't. So I'm going to bring it up. Look how white that is, really. I'm going to bring that up with this beautiful second layer. Probably should let that really, really dry fast and hard. But I'm going to bring that out a little bit in the highlights right there. Just a little bit, I'm enjoying just chatting with you this evening. I tell you, I was so trashed. Thank your mothers and whoever cooked your dinner for you, because that is not an easy feat, especially when you're primarily on your own. And we only had 4 people, but still, you got to have an 18-pound turkey. Oh my gosh, 18 pounds for 4 people divided by 18 divided by 4. Okay, over 4 pounds each. I think that's enough, But it's it can be just a little bit exhausting, especially when you got rheumatoid. Oh my gosh, I slept quite a bit this afternoon. So it's but I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do this anyway. So that's kind of neat. That's coming out a little bit there. And then I'm going to do this. There's a little bit of an area right here where the back of the horse is. If I could find my photo, that'd be really helpful. Somebody save me. Okay. A sec. I need a manager. Raise your hand. Okay. We are going to start some new classes in McCall. We've got ongoing classes, but we're going to start some new classes in McCall in January, and they're going to be on Wednesday afternoon at 3:30 for adults and age 15 and up. And so then we'll have another adult class. I've got 1 afternoon class and 1 evening class on Wednesday evening. And then we'll at 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock in the evening in McCall. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays. I can't paint and talk at the same time. Mondays and Wednesdays, afternoon and evening. All right, and it's oil painting primarily, but if you want to paint in acrylic, you can. You can. And our next show coming up next show at Gallery 55, or not show, but our reception, our next gallery opening is on the first Saturday of every month, first Saturday evening from 4 o'clock until 7 in McCall, Idaho. All right. This time I have all of my still life that is up right now. And then next I'm going to be doing horses and cows and animals. And then we're going to move into the people. Okay, all these people that we've been painting will show up, I think January. That's when that's going to show up. Okay, see how that looks so nice and bright. Now it's starting to really punch out. And it's just very, very exciting. Now, what else can I do to make that head stand forward? That's about as light as I can get it, just about. And I want to make it a little bit fuzzy because I want to have it kind of soft on the edge. If it's a hard edge, it stops your eye. If you have like this, where I'm softening up that edge a little bit, it makes the mass of the whatever you're painting larger. It makes it appear as though it goes back into space. Okay, it goes back into space, and it doesn't just cut off. A sharp edge will do that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a larger brush. This is a 1-inch brush. Sometimes I get playing with brushes that are too small. If you're painting and you pick up a brush, look at it and say, go 2 sizes up bigger from that. It's always a good rule of thumb. Okay, a little more medium, and this time I'm going to come into, I'm going to really get crazy, and I'm going to really darken this up with some black. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's really black. Okay, that's all right. And then I'm going to come in right like this and just push that in. Now, I might add some other colors to that black because I don't like using just black. I like a little bit of blue. But I really, really, really want that to be as though it's extremely dark. So that's what I'm doing that for. I'm going to shape that out a little bit. Much, much happier with this horse. I know some of you guys like that other horse. I didn't even leave that video up, you guys. It was so silly. I don't know why it was silly, but it was silly to me. And so I took it down right away. I just thought, oh no. You know, not everything you do is perfect. That's the neat thing you got to realize, is that everybody as an artist has their days that are not great. I went to a painting, women in the arts display in Las Vegas. I don't go to Vegas for gambling. We were just passing through and had to stay there one night. Or did we? Anyway, we went to this art show. That's what it was. It's a big art show. And I went to this women painters exhibit that had Mary Cassatt, I love her, and Berthe Morisot, and Georgia O'Keeffe, and a bunch of these women in this small gallery. And it was really fun. But what I realized is they had a painting of Georgia O'Keeffe painting, and sometimes, you know, they're gonna find paintings. If I became super, you know, famous, like that's gonna happen. Okay. And all of a sudden, they found a painting in my garage years later that wasn't so good. Sometimes the name will give it just this incredible value, even though it's a terrible painting. And she had one that was a terrible painting. It had, you could still see all the marks, the paper on it. It was a ghastly pink. It was a horrible looking painting to me. Not, you know, her later works were really quite good. But I just thought, wow, you know, people can find stuff. So if you don't want them to find it later, you better hide it or deep six it. My husband doesn't let me throw things out because, oh, it's, you know, provenance. No, it's going to ruin my reputation. Okay, Look how amazingly intense that is. It's a bit too intense. Okay, gotta admit. A little bit too intense. But it's not bad. So I think maybe I'm going to take this white and I gotta be careful. I got the wrong brush. Okay, better not mess that up. Put that white back in. Okay, this is my white brush. This is my black brush. Okay, now I'm gonna see what happens if I go with my white right there. And then I've got my black brush. I'm gonna put that back in and I'm gonna mist it a little bit. White brush and some medium. And then I'm going to, oh, what if I made a little bit of steam coming out of his nose? Okay. Kind of like that. Kind of, and then I'm going to work that in just a bit. So it just gives it a little bit of atmosphere. Again, it's, you know, it's kind of a little bit boring when it's white and gray or white and black making gray. You don't, most of the time I don't use it. I will use something else. But this time I am experimenting a little bit with neutralish colors and not all of my bright, gaudy looking, you know, crazy colors. I do get carried away, that's for sure. Some of us can't help ourselves. Okay, that looks kind of neat, doesn't it? Ooh, yeah, I like it. Okay. Now, this part of him goes kind of like that. I hope I'm cutting him in where he's supposed to go. Now, most of the time, you'd have an area that's dark against the lightest light, meaning the darkest dark, right there. And usually I'll say the sharpest edge. But this time I'm trying to think if I want to make this a little bit more smoky. I don't know. I'm going to experiment a little bit more. Let's go back up into the corner. I've got a little glary light. Probably going to end up with some of this on my painting behind. I forgot to move it. I'm going to give it some energetic strokes like this, like kind of like that. See what happens with that. Good. And of course, down in the bottom, down here, oh, if you can see it, I'll be putting in a little bit of black so that I'll put some definition, just a little bit. So it just looks like, see that leg just kind of popping out a little bit like that? Okay, that looks cool. And then we'll take a little bit more of the black, and I'll fill this in a little bit more when you're not looking, because who needs that? Okay, now I like that smoky effect. I'm going to do a little bit more in the middle. Make it, break it, and make it again. Now I'm making some small kind of, I'm putting the paintbrush flat on it, flat like that, and putting a little white in there and working it in like this so it gives it kind of a glow. A little bit more white and brightening it up and moving it around, giving him just a little bit of that sense of steam coming out his nose. Yay! Yeah. So anyway, Christmas is coming. We're going to be doing some smaller works at the gallery. I hope I'll have a few more small pieces at Gallery 55 in downtown McCall. I keep advertising. And then, oh my gosh, you guys are, if you're in town on, I can't get the dates on this, on the Saturday is the opening for the gallery, the first Saturday. The first Sunday is, I think it's at Mountain Life Church, big place. That's where we do a lot of concerts. Mountain Life Church is going to be hosting the community music concert. So it's choirs, one choir and an orchestra and a bunch of stuff. And guess what? I'm doing a jazz scat solo over the top of the jazz hallelujah chorus. Oh, wow. I hope we can get a little clip of that for you if you can't make it. So I think it's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Check with the McCall Music Society, and we should have the schedule for that. So anyway, hopefully I'll see you again before then, but it's going to be really, really fun. And, you know, I always say that I'm kind of pigment challenged because when I was little, I always wanted to be black. I did. I listened to black music, to artists like Ethel Waters and a couple of guys named Joe and Eddie. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of them, but they would sing, and I would listen to these records of my father's over and over, and I loved the black gospel music, and so it became a part of my genre of music. And I've been a jazz singer and country and folk and all kinds of things for my whole life. And you know, I could never figure out why I wasn't allowed to sing, you know, all the black songs. I wanted to do Porgy and Bess in high school because I liked the music. And we only had a few black people in our school, so that was fun. But I'd sit at the piano when I was in the 3rd grade and sing. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long way from home, a long way from home. That was one of my favorite songs. And then I picked up the guitar and learned a lot of John Denver and even some Brazilian flamenco, well, some flamenco music from Spain, and then also some Brazilian stuff. Isn't that smoky thing kind of fun? What is it that I'm doing? Well, I'm fogging it out every time I apply some paint, but then I add more in the center. Okay, look at that. Oh, it looks like a moon. I might have to put a moon in there somewhere, maybe up here. I don't know. We'll see. So then I take the corner of my brush. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to take it flat again and keep working more and more white into that center and working it out and fogging it out into the edges. And then it gets bigger and bigger a little bit. Oh, wow, that looks like a cool looking moon, doesn't it? I love that. Woo! Where else can I put that? Oh, you don't want to put it everywhere because you'll wreck the effect. Okay. What is this effect? The effect is that we have it fogging into the darkest dark, right? It's into the darkest dark. And I still have this dark up against that light side of the face so that it will stand out a little bit. Yeah. How about a little bit of dust coming up down here, maybe? Maybe a little bit of that. We don't want it just straight black. How's that? Okay. Yeah, a little bit of that. I know you can't see that. It's a little bit tough to see at this stage. It's nighttime here. We got our first official snow that sticks this week and expecting a whole lot more. Yeah. I think the bears have gone to sleep. I hope. Worry about that a little bit. You don't want to go out for walks at night. Not without a big stick or some pots and pans to make noise. Okay, one more. I can't take it. There's my little moon. Exciting. Okay, well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I don't even remember when we started tonight, but I did want to check in with you. We had a good day yesterday. My son, Lincoln, and his wife, Amelia, came over, and they're both on the spectrum and, very high functioning, and got married in June. So they are having their first Thanksgiving. They had their first Thanksgiving together with us. And that was a lot of fun. Again, family is family. And it's just, you make the best of it. I don't know as if I will do another Thanksgiving dinner, at least for a year. I'm going to do Canadian Thanksgiving. It's in October. It's a little easier then. Maybe you can't get turkeys at that point. Oh well, have to go to Canada and get one and bring it down. Yeah, Okay. All right, guys. Next week we will be doing something. You know, I'm thinking about doing a series on beginning painting rather than doing this massive stuff. But I'd really like to hear from you. So send me a note on our YouTube, and we will see what else we can get into, what trouble we can get into. We've got some options. We can do some more still life. I'd like to do some more simple still life so that you can learn the basics. We could be doing a little bit of landscape. Of course, you know I love portraits. Uh, and we could be doing, let's see, I love doing cows and horses and all kinds of different things, but we could simplify it a bit for you if you like, or if you want to just keep digging deep, we'll do that. So lots of fun things coming up, and we'll just keep painting away and hopefully get better and better. And so will you. All right. Love you guys. And big shout out to my students. Terry, love you. Bonnie and Angela and Craig and Mom and you know, miss you, Dad. Thanks for the wonderful easel and painting brushes and paints. Missed you at the table this week. Yeah. All right. See you guys soon. Probably next Thursday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, not Central Time, Mountain Time. 7 p.m. Phoenix time and 6 p.m. West Coast time. Okay, love you guys. Talk to you soon. How do I turn this off?